Hi, welcome to my channel, True Crime with Gael, where horror for the holidays is taking place. A Christmas miracle has happened, and my new mic came in much earlier than expected. I don't know, it sounds the same to me, but hopefully you can hear the difference. I need another cord to connect the cloud lifter I got, so maybe I'll be able to hear the difference by next week. I also have bad hearing, so we'll see, I guess. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. If you do enjoy this video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Alright, let's begin. Breana Rouhselang was a 17-year-old pregnant girl who was murdered by 16-year-old Aaron Trejo in Mishawaka, Indiana, more than 2 years ago. Breana Mackenzie Rouhselang was a 17-year-old, well-loved young woman. She was a very kind and compassionate person who was devoted to athletics since she could walk. She was a junior at Mishawaka High School, where she was a cheerleader her freshman and sophomore years. Breana had played softball since she was 5 and continued on through her high school years. She was looking forward to receiving her varsity letter at the Mishawaka High School sports banquet on the afternoon of her death. Breana had huge aspirations of attending college upon graduation to study athletic training. Breana always loved spending time with her family and friends, along with her dog, Duffy, as well. She was anxiously awaiting Christmas, her favorite holiday, as she loved to engage in all the community festivities. She loved decorating the tree and house with her mom and watching all the Christmas movies. She never wanted to miss any family gathering to play games with her little nieces and nephews and adults alike. Breana also loved going to church with her grandma whenever she could. At around 11 p.m. on December 8, 2018, Breana, who was 6 months pregnant with a baby girl, had told her mother, Melissa Wallace, that she was going to meet up with Aaron Trejo in an alley behind her home. Aaron was also a student at Mishawaka High School, where he was a member of the football team. Officials stated that he was supposedly the father of Breana's unborn baby, who she was going to name Aurora Mackenzie Rouhselang, and they had planned to meet up to talk about the pregnancy. Breana, a multi-sport athlete and cheerleader, also managed the football team, which is how she and Aaron had grown closer. Superintendent for the city of Mishawaka, Dean Spiker, told the South Bend Tribune that Breana and Aaron had been attending school together since they were students at John Young Middle School. The two teens, who lived near each other, were Facebook friends, but Aaron listed himself as single, and Breana did not have her relationship status posted. It's unclear whether Aaron and Breana had an ongoing romantic relationship or a history of domestic violence. Breana's stepmother of 11 years, Nicole, told reporters that Breana had aspirations of going to college, but that she had been receiving failing grades recently. She was like my daughter, Nicole told reporters. I've known her since she was 6. I just don't understand it. She was young, too young to have a baby herself. Breana spent her time between the homes of her biological mother and father, who shared custody of her. Breana's father, Dave, said he was completely unaware of anything like this going on. He added that he and Breana's stepmother, Nicole, didn't even know that my daughter was pregnant. The last time Dave saw his daughter was the week before Thanksgiving, when he treated her to a birthday party at TGI Fridays, where he worked. Afterwards, the family went home and relaxed. It was a great day, Dave recalled. Breana's mother fell asleep soon after Breana left the house to meet with Aaron. When she awoke at 1 a.m., Breana still wasn't home. Mrs. Wallace immediately felt that something wasn't right and drove to Aaron's home several blocks away to get her. But he told her that he hadn't seen Breana because she never showed up at the location where they were supposed to meet. After searching for her daughter for hours and calling her friends, Mrs. Wallace contacted the St. Joseph County Police Department to report Breana Rouhselang missing at around 4 a.m. on December 9th, 2018. Aaron was the last person that was supposed to have seen Breana, so he was one of the first people to be questioned by police. He stuck to his story, however, stating that he never saw her that night because she never showed up. Soon after, officers discovered her glasses and a bloody hat in an alley. When more blood was found nearby, it led authorities to Breana's body. Breana Rouhselang was found dead inside a dumpster behind a Pasquale Ruli's restaurant on the 400 block of Battelle Street, which was about a block away from her home.
A quiet, abnormally bright December morning, sun shining high above the scene of a crime.
It was one of them things I didn't think it'd happen around here.
A Mishawaka high school teen killed and her body found in a dumpster behind Pasquale Ruli's down the street from her home.
Didn't realize anything was happening until we went to let the dog out this morning.
Pets and neighbors on edge while their homes are surrounded by police tape.
I woke up and saw the Metro Homicide and the police cars out front and didn't know what was going on. I just knew that my whole backyard was taped off.
They were taking pictures over there.
For hours, police and Metro Homicide officials conduct an investigation in the Ruli's parking lot and along an alley behind these homes.
I started seeing them pull bags out and separating stuff. I didn't think of anything, maybe evidence. And then later on, no more couple hours ago, or about an hour ago, they just ended up pulling that body out.
I go to Ruli's a lot, and I walk back there to go pick up my pizzas. So yeah, I was very, very shocked.
Sending their prayers to the victim's family.
I just feel really bad for the family that's going to be going through this. It just breaks my heart.
A trash bag had been placed over her head and torso. An autopsy determined that Breana had been stabbed multiple times and that she was also strangled with her scarf, which had been found tightly wound around her neck. Law enforcement officers returned to Aaron's home, but this time they transported him to the St. Joseph County Metro Homicide Unit for questioning. He told investigators that he had reached out to Breana for the first time in months to see how she was doing with the pregnancy, despite the fact he didn't want to have the baby. Aaron said he and Breana had scheduled a time to meet up in the alley behind her home, but he said she never arrived. He waited a few minutes before sending her a text message, and when she didn't reply, he said he went home. Aaron was told that there was physical evidence in the case that wouldn't corroborate his story. Detectives questioned him about whether or not he and Breana had a fight about the pregnancy. Aaron responded by saying yes, and admitting they did argue about the pregnancy. He stated that Breana waited too long to tell him about the pregnancy. By the time he found out, it was too late to get an abortion. In the state of Indiana, abortion is prohibited after 22 weeks. When detectives asked what he did about her waiting too long to get rid of their baby, Aaron Trejo confessed to killing Breana Rouhselang. He is quoted as saying, "I took action. I took her life." He revealed that he had been contemplating their murders for a week. Aaron explained that when he met up with Breana in the alley, they didn't talk for long before he stabbed her in the heart with a knife, which he had brought from his house. He said he chose to kill her with a knife because he thought she would die faster. When she fell to the ground, Aaron said he placed a plastic bag over her head and threw her body in a dumpster behind a restaurant. He then proceeded to throw her cell phone and the murder weapon in a nearby river. He said he threw it as far out into the river as he could. After Aaron's confession, he was arrested and charged as an adult with 1 count of murder and 1 count of feticide, or the destruction or abortion of a fetus, a level 3 felony. He was then booked into the St. Joseph County Jail, where he was held without bond. The outcome of Breana's and Aaron's relationship conforms to an April 2019 Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics study that found 90% of adolescents killed by current or former partners were girls. The average age of the victim was around 17.8 years old. Teens experiencing intimate partner violence rarely seek help from adults and instead disclose to their peers, who are often not equipped to give advice or assist in safely extricating their friend from an abusive relationship. Adolescents may be at risk for intimate partner homicide for a number of reasons. They may have a history of abuse in their families or other family dysfunction, so their parents may be less likely to intervene, and they may not have well-developed support systems. In addition, teens experience wide emotional mood swings, and their capacity for regulating emotions and using positive relationship skills is still developing, which may impact their behavior in conflicts, such as during a breakup. Domestic violence can be any one or a combination of the following. Physical. This includes pinching, hitting, shoving, choking, or kicking. Emotional. This involves threatening a partner or harming his or her sense of self-worth. Examples include name-calling, controlling or jealous behaviors, consistent monitoring, shaming, bullying, intentionally embarrassing him or her in public, and keeping him or her away from friends and family. The third way is sexual. This is defined as forcing a partner to engage in a sex act when he or she does not or cannot consent. Members of Aaron's family later revealed that they had no idea that he had this incredibly dark and violent side of his personality. Still in denial, his older brother Adam said in court that Aaron is the most loving, most caring, most persistent, most consistent person I know. Aaron's aunt said the teen was one of 4 siblings in a tight-knit family. He would play video games, play on sports teams, and sometimes keep to himself. Just your typical kid, she said. Similar to Breana's family, nobody in Aaron's family had heard of her. Aaron's aunt said that nobody knew she was pregnant. Nobody knew anything. They were horrified by what happened. I'm sure they still question to this day whether they ever even knew Aaron at all.
Yeah, it's been nowhere near easy for Melissa Wallace. She spent the past year visiting her daughter's grave almost daily and learning to live without her. Now, she says she's finally ready to talk about her daughter's death. Near the very back of South Lawn Cemetery is where Melissa Wallace spends a few hours nearly every day.
I can't stay away from her.
At her feet is the final resting place of her daughter, Breana Rouhselang.
It doesn't get easier. It's just as hard as the first day I lost her.
That day was 1 year ago this Monday, a day that changed so many lives forever. It was a cold December night when Breana met the father of her unborn child, 16-year-old Aaron Trejo, in the alley behind her home.
I knew something wasn't right.
Police began canvassing the area and eventually found Breana's body. Melissa got the news that no parent ever wants to hear.
I can't believe somebody would do that. She was the kindest girl. She wouldn't have hurt anyone, ever.
For her mother, Breana's death left a hole in her heart that can never be replaced.
I'll never get to hear her voice, hug her, watch her grow, go to college. He took all that away.
Trejo was arrested and charged with murder and feticide. He pleaded guilty in October and will be sentenced next month. Melissa says no punishment would be good enough.
He's still able to talk to his family. He's still able to hear their voice. He still gets to wake up every day. He took that all away from me.
Now all she has left are memories and her gravesite.
I always sit right here because I know she's right here.
As the 1 year anniversary rolls around, Melissa still taking it just one day at a time.
I love you, baby girl.
On January 7th, 2020, Superior Court Judge Elizabeth Hurley sentenced Aaron Trejo at the St. Joseph County Courthouse to 65 years in prison. He received 55 years for the fatal stabbing of Breana Rouhselang and 10 years for killing their unborn baby. Judge Hurley told Aaron that he took her life in one of the most savage and violent manners I have seen in my career. Hurley also noted when she announced her sentence that many teenagers feel the same way about an unplanned pregnancy, but do not commit violent crimes. She said it was apparent you had so many other options. In addition to this, Aaron's propensity for extreme violence and the planning that went into the killing earned him a harsher sentence. Aaron will likely serve at least 75% of this sentence, meaning he'll be around 67 years old when released. Just before learning his sentence, Aaron told the judge, "There is no excuse. Sorry won't be enough. That's all I can give you right now. That's it." As I've mentioned before in a previous video, I have been in an abusive relationship. Please, please, please listen to me when I say this. They are never going to change. It will only get worse. Walk away as soon as you see the warning signs. I got so caught up in my desire to be desired that I threw away all reason and ended up wasting 4 years of my life. I was terrified that that relationship was going to be my last chance at finding love. It was only when I left that I remembered how much I loved spending time with myself. I let myself forget that being on my own is so much better than walking on eggshells for something that was never even love to begin with. I'm not saying it's easy to walk away. It's really fucking hard. I'm saying that it's so much better than what you're currently experiencing. By the time I chose to walk away, I'd lost most of my friends and forgotten how to carry a normal conversation. But it's much more peaceful than where I was. It's so much easier to breathe. If you're looking for a way out of an abusive relationship, please contact the hotline. If you're concerned your internet usage might be monitored, call them at 800-799-SAFE. That's 800-799-7233. If you choose to visit the website, a great feature they have is if you click the red X in the upper right-hand corner, or hit the escape button on your keyboard twice at any time, you leave thehotline.org and will immediately be redirected to a Google page. However, you still would need to clear your browsing history of the website yourself. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. I'll be posting mostly true crime, but also other mysteries and conspiracy theories. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. I hope you're having a great Christmas and that you all have peaceful and fulfilling weeks. Bye.